Welcome. Thank you for coming. It's great to see you all today. Today's webinar is brought to you by MCSC Women's Business Center. We're a nonprofit business center serving entrepreneurs in SLO, Kern, and Monterey counties. We provide support to individuals looking at self-employment as a viable option. We help startups and existing small businesses with mentoring, entrepreneurial training courses in English and Spanish, and classes like this. Our consultants can help you with budgeting, marketing, social media, website development, HR, and tax planning. If it's a business-related concern, we can help you with it. Our contact information is on the screen, and I will put it in the chat box shortly. I would like to thank Stacy Aragon for presenting today. Stacy has a BS in Business Administration with a concentration in entrepreneurship from Cal Poly. She is passionate about helping entrepreneurs who have the heart and perseverance to pursue their dreams. Stacy has knowledge in all aspects of business, from strategic planning, marketing, finance, HR, organizational behavior, and organizational development. We are thrilled she is here.
Thank you, Barbara. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on your brunch hour today. As Barbara mentioned, I am a business consultant with the Women's Business Center, and I've been working with the Women's Business Center since 2016 in various capacities. I have been utilizing Canva for over 6 years, and I love, love, love all the great possibilities created by this wonderful company. I think the biggest positive about Canva and working with them is that they are so ready to implement customer feedback and change. And if there's anything that you've been having to work around and struggle with, they're there to listen to you and implement those changes so that your design experience is a little easier, which is great. Anyhow, I think Barbara already did an amazing job of introducing me. As she said, I did graduate from Cal Poly with a concentration in entrepreneurship, so I'm well versed in most areas of business, and I love working with creative, forward-thinking people who are dedicated and determined. So if by the end of this webinar you think we'd be a good fit, if you have any questions about Canva or branding or anything else for that matter, get in touch with Barbara and we can set up a free consultation. All right, just a few other side notes. It is an hour-and-a-half webinar, so if you cannot stay with us until the end, that's okay. We have the rest of that session recorded for you. In addition to the recording, I do have some handouts that might be helpful for you as you start to promote your business a little bit more online. And those handouts will be distributed with that webinar. Bold branding and design with Canva has been tailored to our pre-survey responses. And I just wanted to thank all of you who had the opportunity to participate in that survey beforehand. So according to the results, the majority of those who responded are service-based businesses. They have been in business for about 6 years or more, and they either have very little to beginner knowledge of Canva skills and experience. So based on that information today, we're going to cover a few things. First and foremost, we'll go over 5 bold, effective branding tips that will increase your graphic eye. We will complete a live demo of a social media graphic that combines basic and intermediate features on Canva. And then we will end with 6 Canva tips that'll help you design and streamline your experience. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you at this point. 1 second here. Okay, Barbara, can you see that?
Yep, looking good.
Cool. Okay, I'm just gonna go into present mode. Oops. I'm gonna start from the top. There we go. Okay, here we go. So branding tips and tricks. Tip number 1 is to keep to keep it simple, really. Bold to me means very simple, very clear, and straight to the point. You can keep your graphics simple by balancing texts, images, and elements, other things that you want to add to your design. So I have an example here on the left. You could see LinkedIn Learning. This is actually a promotion that's going on right now. It popped up in my feed. Typically, you want to imagine your graphic design as almost placing it on a scale. Is it going to be balanced, or is it tipped over to one side? Just that visualization will help you keep it clear and just straightforward in balancing those text, images, and elements. Text within the actual graphic design is also important. We want to make sure it's not too cluttered and that the spacing is good. And then also the text within your post is important. You want to keep it simple, keep it clear. If you can, keep it very, very short and concise so we don't have to push the read more button. But just in this example, you can see LinkedIn has said, learn the in-demand skills that job seekers need to land their next job and grow their careers. So they're telling you what you're going to learn on LinkedIn and what that experience is going to be like. And then they have your a clear call to action. Try LinkedIn Learning free for 1 month. So tip number 1, keep it simple by balancing everything on your graphic design. Tip number 2 is spacing, and this coincides with being balanced. Using spacing around an object actually brings more attention to it, so utilize empty space or negative space. Over here, I have an example of Tide, which is probably one of my favorite brands, but they are a bold graphic design here. They have it, it's simple, it's clear. Your eye is drawn to Tide, their brand, and then also their new product. And then if you look at their description as well, they're giving you the information. Introducing Tide One Wash Miracle. The innovative dual chamber technology provides a deep clean and complete odor eliminating, odor elimination, even for musty towels and sweaty athletic wear. Only available online. So they're giving you a description and introduction of their product. It's very simple, it's clear, we know the intention. Try it here online now. So tip number 2 is spacing, having to do with balance as well. Tip number 3 is text hierarchy. Your most important element should be bigger font. Keep your message simple and sweet. Again, I use Tide. I just love their Loads of Hope campaign. I thought it was super, super clever, and a big thank you message to those that are powering those cleaners for those disasters, natural disasters. All right. Tip number 4 is direction and placement. People have the tendency to observe in an F, E, or Z pattern. And this was actually a study done by Crazy Egg that does map hotspots and tracks where your eye flows and what gets clicked more. They're a really well-known company. I would highly recommend looking them up. They're great. So this was primarily for web-based looking and trying to track the eye and where it goes specifically. But I do think that this is also used on social media graphics and flyers. The same thing applies. I mean, we're on our phones, we're on our computers, looking at websites all day. So utilize this tip, direction and placement. Place your logos and your call to actions in places where your eye is naturally gonna flow. And that's, again, that F, E, and Z pattern. And then tip number 5 is consistency, consistency, consistency. Be a brand people can like, know, and trust. It's very, very important, especially in an ever-changing world. We like reliability. We like brands that we can count on that don't switch it up on a dime. This doesn't mean you have to be boring or keep the same color schemes throughout all the holidays. You can still provide consistency through the seasons by using the same texts and obviously your branding placement. These examples here are what we did in last year's Canva workshop. As you can see, we focused on a flyer and we did that for print, but because everybody is on social media, we'll be focusing on a post more so. But as you can see, even though I'm not using the same colors, it's still a very consistent brand here. All right, so we're gonna actually exit out of here and then we're gonna move on to our demo. With me. For those who are still new to Canva, I'm just gonna do a brief overview on the navigation. So if you look at the top right corner, you can see a little icon. That's my sign-in information. If you ever need to look at your account or change the settings, this is where to do it. You also have this top navigation ribbon here. You've got the Canva logo here. And as you can see, it's following that F and EZ pattern. So in your top navigation panel, you're gonna see home, which is what we're on, templates. Utilizing Canva for your business is made really easy. You can do all sorts of virtual graphics. You can do print information like business cards and brochures and business letterheads, presentations, etc. Marketing, same thing. These are all things that are available to you in Canva. And then they also do the dimensions for you. So that's why it's important to pick the specific social media that you'll be working with, because they all have different requirements, which makes things crazy sometimes. Just trust Canva for the most part. Sometimes you still have to do some tweaking. Again, you can use it for personal things as invitations and resumes and things like that. Canva will also print out your designs if you want to print them out on a t-shirt, or if you want to print out business cards, you can do it through them, or you can download it onto your computer and use Vistaprint or whatever other company you're used to using. Next are the features. So the features in Canva are growing to be unlimited. They're doing a great job with this. You've got lots of free photos and backgrounds and things like that that you can use in your design. Icons, animated icons, which is fun. Again, the print products are there. You have apps that you can integrate into your design. And then the ability to build out a team and just design with people that are like-minded, people that you want help and feedback from. The Learn tab is very important. You have tons of courses that you can take and tutorials and blogs that you can read from that are free, completely free. So if you're ready to learn at your own pace and want to get better with your Canva skills, then I would highly recommend using the Learn tab. Obviously, pricing has the different structures. Canva Pro is something that we'll explore in the next webinar that we do next week. You also have a left navigation bar. Recommended for you are templates that are recommended for you based on your history. All your designs you can access here, recent designs shared with you. Brand Kit is something more for Canva Pro, but it gives you the ability to design your own logo and create a logo palette, a color palette, and also the font. And so with that, Canva will remember your default fonts and your default colors that you use, which is very helpful when you're designing. And then they've also added a place to organize, which is great. So you can make folders and whatnot. Also on the left-hand side, you'll have your team members here, the ones that you want to edit or look at or view or what have you. So that's basically it for the navigation of Canva in general. There is also some navigation that we'll go into when we're in designs. I do have to switch over to get to our design. So here we go. Barbara, can you still see that?
Yes, I can see the lady sitting there with a computer in her lap.
Okay, perfect. So now we're going to get into the demo portion of the webinar. I just want to go over the layouts when you're in design, because there are different amenities that you have that you can choose from. So when you're actually in a design, this is an Instagram post template. You can see there is nothing on this top bar here except for animate. But when you click into your document, that's when your top edit bar comes into play. We'll look at that a little later as we're working with our design. I did want to go over what we have here on the left. So the templates are just the easy feature for you to plug and play. So if you find a template that you like for your business, let's say it's Monday inspirational quotes, and you want to just use that, that's fine. Add your brand on there and send it out. They have tons of different templates to go by, and they're all categorized in different subjects and areas, which is great. It makes it easy to kind of flip through. Oops. So going down, we have uploads. You have the ability to upload any images that you want from your computer, which is great, especially if you already have your logo and your PNG or JPEG for your logo or your vector. This is a great place to upload it, pictures, anything that you want. Photos are the photos that Canva has in stock. I don't typically use this because they've integrated apps like Pixabay and Pixel, I believe it's called. But you can see if there are photos you can use as backgrounds for your graphics. We also have elements. Elements is where you're going to find shapes, frames, icons, anything really. The frames are used for your pictures to really, come into shape. Like you can use the square or a circle, and these are good for photos as well. We'll be using that. Stickers, animation, which is fun. You also have charts, the ability to use charts. You've got grids, which are more collage based than anything else. Gradients, different colors, etc., etc. So elements is a fun one. If you don't want to search by their category, you can always search by their search bar there. Text is the same. They've really stepped it up in text. You've got generalized text here. Well, hopefully, there we go. Generalized text, so add a heading, subheading, etc. And then they have these new, lively texts that they have that are just neon colored and bring so much attention to your words here. One of my favorite things that they recently implemented is the ability to do curved text. So if you have, for example, this design has a circle here. If I wanted to put something, a text that followed the circle, I'm able to do that, and I can show you how to do that later. But before, we had to do individually and kind of curve it ourselves, which was a pain. So anyways, moving on, we have styles as well. This is fairly new. It'll produce your texts for your headings and your subheadings, and then it'll give you a color palette, which is awesome because sometimes matching colors isn't as easy or as logical as it should be. But a note on colors, there's a lot of psychology that goes into the colors that you choose and that big brands choose for their branding and their promotions. This is something that we're gonna dive into a little bit more in the next webinar next week, the psychology of color and the psychology of typography or text. Audio and video is also an option, and I believe these are intermediate to advanced features. So you can plug in a song, you can plug in a little background video. These are helpful for businesses, like something that comes to mind is pizza delivery and the making of the pizza and using those types of videos for your promotions. You can really get creative and handy with that. We also have background. So if you want to just pick a color or pattern or texture, this is where you would get it. Again, and then folders, you can pull from the designs you already have. So let's say I have a design in my WBC folder that I want to use in this template, I can look for it here. That's also pretty new and very useful. The More button is all of the apps and integrations that you can use. I primarily end up using the Pixels and Pixabay for the free stock images. It's a great place to go. If you have a QR code for your business, this is where you would implement your QR code. You can embed Google Maps. There's lots and lots of possibilities here, which is great. All right. So we kind of got the basics here about navigating when you're in design. Like I said, the edit bar on the top only comes into play when you're selecting your image. So the image that I have right here is something that kind of inspired me that was simple but bold and just something that was well put together. I don't like a lot of clutter. I am, again, just advocating for simple and super clear. If you don't know the intention of your promotion or your campaign or whatever it is you're posting, your customer is not going to know it. So we want to be clear. Typically, I don't use a lot of the templates that Canva gives for business purposes. I kind of look around and just am aware of surroundings and big brands and people in the industry to see what they're doing and to see where the design and the creation and inspiration comes from. So what I do is I will Google search, social media post for whatever it is, whatever business we're doing. So we're going to recreate this social media post. This is an Instagram post, and we're going to say, it's for a campaign specifically. You can spend a lot of time designing or trying to create a design from scratch and just spend hours and hours with it. So for me, I'm a very process-oriented person, and having what I want and my intentions and everything and my vision and goal about this campaign or particular promotion is very, very important to me. So I did create a handout that will be given to you in case you're like me. And this basically just organizes your thoughts and your motives behind why you are promoting what you are promoting. So for example, the campaign logistics for this particular image is going to be hot yoga classes. Not a free intro month, but a very discounted intro month of unlimited hot yoga. So my dates, hypothetically speaking, for this campaign are going to be from today to May 7th. The purpose of the campaign is to draw in new clients. And so we know that from the beginning. And the more specific you can be with your goal, the better off you're going to be. And it'll be easy to track your success in this campaign so that in the future, as we learn by trial and error, you can pay attention to these details. So again, if I could put a number to this campaign, the purpose of this campaign to draw in 10 new customers, 10 new local customers, that's great because you can come back to it and measure it out yourself. My message, I want it to be short again, like Tide, what we had with Tide. So for this particular promotion, we're going to say revitalize your mind, body, and spirit with hot yoga. Try hot yoga for $29 for 1 month of unlimited access, and that's it. The clear call to action is going to be sign up by calling my company. And then the emotion, the impact, the experience we really want to have our customers feel is just a revitalizing Zen focus and calm. And you can get into that with not only colors, but the imagery that you use. And so those are important things. Additionally, on this template that I have here are color palette information, text information as far as fonts and sizes and colors, etc. The more you're clear, again, about your message and your campaign, the easier it is to design and the more time you save, really. Okay. So here we go. first and foremost, with Canva, there are lots of elements and images and texts and everything that you can put on your design that you could imagine. So one of my biggest tips to you is to do it layer by layer. And so that's how we're going to approach this demonstration. We're going to do the background first. We'll do the elements and then the text. So we've got 3 layers. If you have any questions along the way, we'll stop in each layer after each layer is done, and then we'll answer those questions. So let's get started. Background. Got a dark blue. I already have a background color picked out for me. Again, there's a lot of psychology that goes into that. So we're gonna go into, actually, we can either select the document and then go to the edit bar where the colors are shown. And of course, my computer's slowing down a little bit here. 1 second. So you can either select your document and then click this button and then go to document colors, and you can see the brand colors, photo colors, default colors that are all there for easy access. Or if you write down the color code, which I normally do, again, to save time, I will write it down here if it gives me the option. Here we go. Kind of popping up. It's playing with me now. Oh boy.
It's Technology Tuesday.
It's Technology Tuesday. Something as simple as picking a color. Come on. There we go. So here we go. I can write my color here. Oh, and there it goes again. I promise you, I have nothing else streaming right now, so I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Well, I may not get to the exact color that I want, but I was hoping for a purple bluish background. So for now, for the sake of attention and time, I will choose this color. So that's part of the background. Now if we go, here we go. Now if we go to elements, I want to implement that wave that we have in our original inspiration here. So I'm going to go to elements, and then I'm going to go to shapes. There we go. I have it in my recent shapes. That's the fun thing about Canva, is they'll have your recent elements used there as well. But we'll just look for it since it pulled it up anyway. There we go. All right, so here is something that is similar. It's not exactly the same, and it doesn't have to be. This is close enough for me. So we're gonna go ahead and drag it. So you click on it, drag it to the corner, the bottom corner, and then pull it all the way. There we go. Okay. And I think about, 1/4 of the bottom is a good way to do that. And then when you click on it, you can also create the colors that you want as well. And look at that, it's actually working. Yay. Okay, so for this color, again, I said I went with purple because purple has a lot of meaning of calm and revitalization, etc. So I'm going to type in the color code here, AC93 B2. Okay, and I have that there. So, and I'm going to keep going. So here we go, same color code. And then that last color, I want a darker purple to go with that. So let's see, we have 5, 8, 4, 3. Okay, so there's that color. And let's see if it'll let me do the background now. I really feel like it makes a difference here. 2, 4, 9.
Stacy, while
Yeah.
you're doing colors, somebody wants to know how you find your color code.
Great question. So to find your color code, you just click on the left-hand side, this plus sign right here, and it'll show you the code right in this box, or they've done this neat thing where you hover over it and it'll show you the code as well. So that makes it very easy. Okay, so we've got our background, and that is basically the first layer. So do we have any questions with that? It's pretty simple.
Yes. Could
Okay.
you show us how you rotated it?
Yeah, so you click on the object, and goes for most things. You click on the object, and then you'll see the blue outline of it, of the image or the element. And then you'll also have these corner round circles to either drag in to make smaller or drag out to make larger. And then you also have the ability to minimize or increase the width here. Not every element is the same, but if you look for the circles and these little dashes, that's how you can rotate it. You can also, manipulate the shape and size. You can also rotate it with these 2 lines here. Did you see this handle right here? And then you just rotate it the way that you want it. And the nice thing is that Canva will show you the degrees. And so when I want something to be horizontal, I just go to 90, and that makes it really easy. And then the other nice thing about Canva is they have the purple grids to kind of show you where the center of the document is, and just a bunch of, measurements that help help you make your design more aesthetically pleasing.
Can you show that rotation button again?
Yeah, so you have to click on the image that you want to manipulate, and then it'll give you the option to do corner to corner, side to side, and then you'll see this little round button with the 2 arrows, opposite arrows, and that's how you rotate it.
And how did you separate the 3 colors on the object?
So with this particular element, it has 3 colors already, and again, with the selection, you'll see it here in that top edit bar. This edit bar, it changes as you select the elements within your design. So some elements may have a choice to adapt 2 colors, 1 color, etc.
And then somebody actually has some experience with design and said, does the rule of thirds help with design? It's a good question.
I love that question, and I always think about it with my designs, and I think absolutely the thirds. So if you divided this square into thirds, both horizontally and vertically, you want to be within those lines with your image to kind of help focus in on, either the person or the flower or whatever product you have. So yes, I think that photography, especially if you have that experience and know that rule, it is very helpful.
And then one other question, which might be a little advanced, which is, are we going to upload videos? Somebody wants to know if you can upload a video of your own.
Yes, you can, and we will be doing that, but not in this specific webinar. We'll be doing that next week on Tuesday. I actually have the promotion piece that we built last year, which was pretty fun. It had video and it also had music. So that's something to look forward to next week.
Excellent. All right, that's all the questions for now. Thank you.
Perfect. All right, great questions, guys. Thank you so much for contributing to. If you have any tips to share, that would be the great time to do it. So I really enjoy that. Okay, so back to our design. Now we want to add in just the elements. So I would call the elements the logo on the left-hand side. Again, we have left hand, and you can see that your eyes are going to be flowing either F, E, or Z. It really does do that. But the elements that we have here are your logo, we have this circle, the dotted lines here, this person in here, and then we also have these stripes. I don't really know what you call those, but that's what we're working on next for our second layer. And before we continue, what I like to do and would advise you to do with each layer is to lock your image. So because we're dealing with multiple elements, let's say I put a text on here and I want to highlight the text or select the text, but sometimes it'll grab the background instead. So to bypass that whole mess, we're gonna lock our background, and then we're gonna lock this part of the background as well. So you just select the part you want to lock, and then you go to the edit bar on top, and then you hit this lock icon, and then it'll show it locked. So we're gonna do both of those. And with this particular design, because it's kind of coming at you and it feels a little bit 3D, you have this person, which is an element that you want to layer, sorry about that, that you want to layer maybe on top of the circle, on top of the circle and on top of another layer. So we'll end up unlocking some of those just to get it right. But we're going to go to elements, and then we're going to go to circle or shapes. I'm going to see if it'll let me just do a circle real quick. Oh, there we go, circle. Trying to find the quickest way to do it so it doesn't have to reload every time. There we go. So we got the circle here. And as you can see, our background is locked, so I can't put the circle behind this locked object yet. So I'll have to unlock that to do that. So when you click on the object, we'll go to color. It's got a little bit of a lag, I apologize. Canva. Okay, there we go. So we got one circle. That's good. We're going to select it. We're going to change the color by going to the edit bar. I'm going to change it to white. While I'm bypassing the awkward silence, our last Canva experience was very interesting because we were dealing with videos and audio, and it was so hard to, we almost thought we weren't going to make it, but we were able to make it. And at the very end, after all of that work, we weren't able to actually show the design at its entirety. So I had to send it out via email. It was awful, but the experience and what we created was amazing. It's just sometimes technology can't keep up with us. So thank you for your patience. So here we go. We got our circle. And what I'm wanting to do is kind of tuck it in under that wave there. So again, trying to select the circle here and drag it, but it's going the opposite direction. Come on. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, again, because we have it locked, we got to unlock this layer so we can tuck in the circle. So it's unlocked now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the circle and then go to the top edit bar, hit position, and go backwards. So it went backwards one layer, which is exactly what I was looking for. And so I'm going to just drop it down and then try and get it in the middle there where that grid has that plus sign. Just had it. Let's see. Oh, where'd you go? There we go. Right there. Perfect. All right. So for now, I'm going to lock it as well so I don't mess up that placement. And then we're going to go ahead and do the border around the circle. So back to elements. And then I'm going to type in circle here to get that border going. And then after this layer, we will actually take a quick break. See if I can rejuice my computer. But there we go. I don't know how that line appeared. Just select and delete. All right, so here we go. We've got some circles, some borders. This one is a dashed line. I don't feel like a dashed line is very yoga feeling. You know, sometimes it's good to allow yourself to feel exactly what you want to experience and go by your feeling and gut feeling instead of logic. So that's what we're gonna do here. And I think I actually like this design here. So what I wanna do is I want to make this as a little bit bigger than my circle here, which again is already locked. So it's in place, I don't have to move it. So I'm just gonna select the circle and then drag out the corner until it's just a little bit bigger than the circle we have. And then I'm gonna place it, use those grid lines to place it. And then we're going to go ahead and make that white as well. And then we're going to position it backwards with the rest of the circle. There we go. So there we go. So that's in there, pretty centered there. So I'm gonna lock it so that it doesn't move. And then we're gonna go ahead and add that background, those background lines. Don't know exactly what you call them, but I like to look into blobs as far as elements go. And usually blobs will bring up animations and different types of background styles. So here we go. Let's see, she's got 2 stripes. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with that. I think I might find something more inspiring or fit for this design. So you can see all the gradients and the blobs and everything that they have here. This just gives it a little bit more depth and, you know, an interesting detail here. Okay. I have this image of something and I can't quite get to it yet. Let's see. And then you see the animations as well. You can do that too. I think for the sake of time, we'll just pick something up here. I kind of like the splatters, those are cool. And if you see, like if you hover over your elements, it'll say either pro or free. If it's a pro feature, just choose that one for now and change out the color. If it's a pro feature, you can use it without being a pro member, but you will have to pay for that feature. So something like that, that's kind of, you know, fun and in your face, will give it a little bit of a dynamic. I'm gonna rotate it. So I selected it and hit the rotate icon. And then I'm gonna set it right here. This is gonna be in back of my person that I have. So once I have that, I'm gonna lock it just to keep it in place for now. And then we've got 2 more elements to go, which is this person and then the logo here. So the great thing about Canva Pro is that if you find an image that you like, you can completely eliminate the background and just use the person. And that's what we're gonna do right now. I'm gonna go into either Pixels or Pixabay. This is found in the More tab on the left side there. And then I'm going to search yoga. It's like we said, we're promoting hot yoga, right? And I do like those images where people are super dynamic and they seem like they're coming at you. So I'm gonna look for something that stands out for me there. And again, with Canva Pro, you're able to take out these backgrounds, which is super awesome. Let's see, so something like this, where they're almost coming at you, or even this picture would be great. Let's see here. Yeah, we've got some great images to play with. You know, I think I may have liked the one up top here. I'll just check a few more. Okay, yeah, I think we'll go up with something up this way. You can hear my computer fans. Try to keep it as cool as possible. All right, so we're looking for a picture that's kind of in your face, doesn't have anything in front of it, so that we can completely eliminate the background there. And not too detailed, because these grass blades are hard to actually eliminate out as well. So I think for now, we can use, I'm not finding an image.
Casey, while you're looking for that, we have a simple question for you, which is, do you design your flyers offline first, or do you design directly in Canva?
I design directly in Canva. So what I do is I go onto Google and I look for images in that industry. So for example, if we were doing a hot yoga, since we're doing hot yoga, I would look into social media posts, hot yoga, those types of searches. Gosh, really not finding what I wanted here. I will check one more in Pixabay and see if that works. So if we go to more, and then we go to Pixabay here and search yoga. I was really hoping to find an image that was more 3D like. It's some interesting photos here.
Laura says hot yoga has some good ones.
Let's try it, huh? I know, you're gonna be.
We have some hot yoga people out there. Thank you, Laura.
It didn't quite pick up the hot yoga part. All right. I'm not going to spend too much time on it anymore here. But I did have something in mind that I really wanted. All right. I think I'm going to try her. All right. So we have an image, and it's almost the same color scheme here. We're going to use that. So select the image and then go to Effects. And again, this is more of a Canva Pro thing. And then hit on Background Remover. And hopefully I don't lose anything from this. Usually this takes up a lot of energy. So if you hear my computer taking off, it's okay. It's only momentary. So there we go. That actually works pretty well. And you can see as I select her, there's a huge rectangle with her in it, right? I'm gonna crop that down so that when I try to place my object, it's not thrown off by this empty space here. So it's already selected. I'm gonna go to crop. And then I'm gonna crop the image. I wonder, it's interesting that it gave the background back. Usually it'll just crop the empty space. So I'm just gonna get as close as I can to her and then done. Okay, there. So she's still like that, perfect. So I'm gonna put her in the middle here. And again, I wanted that effect to where she looks like she is in between layers. So we've got her leg here in the white, but then over the wave, and I like that. So let's go ahead and put her in the middle, and then we're gonna lock her as well. Okay, oops, what happened there? There we go. Well, we won't lock her because Canva is being a little temperamental right now. All right, yeah.
You had mentioned taking a break. Did you want to do that?
Yeah, I just wanted to fit one more thing. We've got one more element and it's pretty quick here. It's the logo for my fictitious company here. So I have the logo. I've uploaded the image from my computer, and here it is. I want to use that and again do the FEZ type formatting, and I'm going to place it in the left-hand corner where everybody places their logo. And then I'll lock this image so that we won't continue to pick up on it. And that is the end of layer 2, which is most of those elements. Now we'll go ahead and take a break. We'll get back to questions and then we'll finish the last text, the last layer, which is text.
Okay, it is 11:54 now, so we will see you back at 11:59.
Perfect. Thank you, Barbara.
Welcome back, everyone. There's Stacy. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So I did have a question from Amber. Where do you access effects? So if you click on or you select on your image or element, then the top edit bar will come up. And that's only if you're selecting elements, okay? So each time you select an element, you will have an option for all of these tools. Sometimes they're different, but that's where we get them from. Did we have
Stacy, we did have one other question.
Okay.
From Abrielle. Did she choose the colors from a picture she found? And if so, how did she find the color code from that?
Actually, I did not. So I've been doing this for a long time. I do independent contracting work too, sometimes with branding and logos, sometimes with promotional materials. Those are just the colors that really caught my eye as I was preparing for this workshop. And as soon as I find a color I like, I will write it down on my handy dandy template there so that I don't forget it. There are other options. You can also go into, if you Google search Canva color palette, what you can do is you could submit upload, I think is the right term, upload an image, and it'll give you a color palette based off of the image colors that's provided. It's really cool. The other option is to go here into styles at that left navigation bar there, and then you can see that they have color palettes there as well. All right, any other questions before we do text?
That's it for now.
Perfect. Great questions, guys. Thank you again. So as we discussed before we got started, we want a clear call to action, clear message. The message is something we type in, with our posts, but not technically on the design. So we're going to skip over that. My clear call to action again is for people to call my phone number for my business to sign up, to get new clients to come try the hot yoga for unlimited access at $29. So text is important. Keep it simple. We're going to do a hierarchy of texts as well. And also choosing the text. So a shortcut in getting text to pop up is if you select the document and just type in T, you'll get a text box. Or you can go to the left and click on text. So we've got our text box, and I want to do intro month because this is what we're highlighting, right? It's an intro month for newcomers to really take advantage of the deal. And I want to place it around probably around here. And I think actually, now that I'm looking at it, these elements can be a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead and move her to the side and unlock the circle. What I didn't do with both of the circles, which would have been helpful before I locked everything was I didn't group them. So as you can see, when I carry this, it's off center already with the circle. So what I want to do is I want to group both circles so that I can move them together and not have to adjust all the time. So the way you can do that is if you click anywhere on your document and drag over to the circles, it usually picks up. And I don't think it picked up that. So there we go. So we'll have to do it individually. So great opportunity to learn more about grouping and locking. So if you have two grouped elements, not lock that, you want to group them together so that you can move them together, because getting to the circle on its own is a pain. So I'm going to unlock this element, move it up for a minute, and then before I adjust the size, I'm actually going to group them together. So there's two circles. They're centered as much as I want them to be. And as you can see, when I clicked outside of the circle and dragged inward, there's two highlights, two boxes that highlight both objects. So I know I have both circles together, and now I'm going to group them. And when you do that, you can automatically resize and adjust together. So that's what I'm going to do here. I made the circle a little bit bigger. And I want to put it right there, probably, yeah, right in the middle or near middle. There we go. So there. And then since that is together, I want to lock that image. We'll bring the splatter back up, keep it within that box, lock that, and then put her in there as well. I think right about. Okay, now I was able to lock her without getting that background back. Okay, so back to the text. We're gonna do intro month. I do not like the feel of this text, and I do have some in mind. I do like script for yoga. I can't tell you exactly why. It kind of reminds me of yoga in general. But let's see, handwriting. And the one that I want to use for this particular design is Brittany. It's called Brittany. There we go. Okay. So we did talk about hierarchy, and I think 58 is actually a pretty good size. I'm going to go ahead and put that up at the corner, intro month. It's hard to see because it's black and it's on a darker text, or I'm sorry, darker background. So I'm going to go ahead and click this image and do command copy or control copy, whichever kind of computer you have, and then Command V to paste. So I have two now. What I like to do is use two different colors and then overlay them together. So there we go. And then I'm going to drag it as close as I can to get that effect. And you can see now that I have both the white and black, and it just gives it a little more depth and excitement there. So I'm going to group those two texts together because we learned the first time, and then lock them. So I've got my intro month, which is what we're focusing on. And now we're going to add the price. So again, just T, and then I'm going to do $29 for the first month. And as far as size goes, I believe I use a big size for this because this is the drawer of attention here. Come check it out, right? I think I use about 120. Where did it go? There it is. It's in her shirt. I think I was at 120. There we go. And I don't typically like to do script for numbers, so I'm going to use a different font for this. And for me, when I think of yoga, I think of just modern texts, and just that type of thin, long, I don't even have a terminology for that. I'll have to look that one up, but I do have one in mind already. What is it? Here we go. There we go. This helps me think about, oops, I like the regular version here. Okay, and I think that looks nice together. So I'm gonna place that just right around here. Oops. Use those grid lines to help you. And then I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the intro month. And I'm gonna command copy, then command paste. There we go. And then I'm gonna use a different color for this particular one. I think maybe like a lighter gray. And then I'm gonna drag it over. So I'm actually not using a mouse, I'm using a trackpad, which sometimes is a little bit difficult to get exactly to where you want it to be. So if you get it in the general range, you can also use your keys, your arrow keys, to move them as well, which is helpful. Oops. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna move it a little bit more. Perfect. All right, now I'm gonna click outside of the text and then highlight both of those layers, group them together and reposition them, grab them, move them together. Perfect. And then I'm gonna keep it there for now. All right, so we've got intro month, which is what we wanna focus on, the $29. Now we need to give them an idea of what they're purchasing here. So we're gonna go ahead and hit T again, and then we're gonna do hot yoga. And I think for this text, I'm gonna bring it down just like we have it on the left side in our example up here. And then we're gonna switch texts again. Perfect. And I want the size to be about 50. So here we go. So you've got your font type, the size, and you can actually just type in there for the size. And then you also have colors, bold, everything else, alignment here as well. And then I'm gonna line it up here as best as I can with the logo we have. And then I'm gonna change this color to white because we're on a darker background. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go, we got hot yoga. So if we go back to our original inspiration right here, you can see it's white, blue, and then white again. So I'm gonna kind of follow that as well. We're gonna do white and then purple. I'm gonna use that light purple that I used for the wave there. I'm gonna lock that hot yoga in place, hit T, oops, come on, hit T, and then we're gonna do unlimited classes. So now they know what the promotional piece is here. We are trying to get them to sign up for hot yoga and unlimited. There we go. So we're keeping it simple. We've got 50 font, and then we're gonna go back to our recent fonts, use that, drop it down below hot yoga, line it up with the grid lines, probably just a little bit more there. And then we're gonna change the color. So let's go ahead and change the color to that light purple that we use. I actually have it written down here. Since it doesn't save, sometimes it'll save and it'll have it in your recent colors, but that's okay. That's why I like to write things down. So we're gonna go here and type it in. Get that light purple. That's what I wanted, perfect. So we got that. So we know what our deal is now, and now we just need that clear call to action. And actually, one other thing before we get to the call to action, we're going to add in the dates of this campaign. because we want to put a little bit of pressure and we want them to do it within the month or within the week, we want to put those parameters on our promotional piece here. So we're going to do T again, and then I'm going to just say offer ends May 7th. And then we're going to change the font. So go up to the edit bar. The font that we have. This isn't as prominent, so I do want it to be a smaller size. I'm going to adjust the size up here, type it in. I think around 35 would be good. Okay, cool. So we got that. We're going to drop it down and then align it with the rest of the text. And then we're going to color it white just to get that consistency there. And I do like having that black background as well, or the layer here. So I'm gonna copy and paste. You can try Command C and Command V. Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does. The other option is to go, is to highlight the text and then, where are you? And then on the edit bar, you have a duplicate button. So if you wanted to duplicate any of these objects, all you have to do is click on them, go to the top edit bar, and then click on duplicate as well. So that's another way to do it. Okay, so we've got that. I'm gonna color this one black just to get that that effect there. And I'm gonna put this, I want it to be behind the white. So I have the text selected. I'm going to go to position and go backward. There we go. So now it's ready. Aligned there, and there we go. Okay, so we got the layer there for effect. I'm going to group that text and then I'm going to lock it. Last order of business is that, is the call to action. And actually this wasn't aligned properly. So there we go. Better. Okay. Designing can be very, very tedious. So again, last order of business is the call to action. So I want them to call me. So I'm going to do phone. I'm in Elements and I'm going to look up phone to find an icon for phone. And I actually like this one right here. It's perfect. It's a pro feature. But again, you don't have to have pro. You can pay for this specifically, this image. So I'm going to use that and shrink it down. I just grabbed the corner and dragged it inward or downward. And I'm going to place it right below offer ends. Perfect. And then I'm going to add text again. And then I'm going to put my number, except not my real number. There we go. I'm going to change the font and then change the size. I want it to match the size that I just did, which was 35. There we go. And then I want to match this color. So I'm going to click on this icon. I think this will work. If I click on this icon and then I go up to my edit bar, there's a little paint roller that says copy style. And now that I've pressed that button, it turned black. And then I'm going to apply it and see if it works. Oh, it didn't work on that one, but it should, if you're doing it with another text, it should copy the colors. So the style is the color that you want it to be. That didn't quite work, which is okay. So here's the other option. We're going to go up, we're going to select it, select the number, and then here's the color. There we go. And then we're going to drop it down here. And then I'm going to group these two elements together. And another way to do that is if you have one of the elements selected, you can hold onto your shift key and then go up to your edit toolbar and then click this dot icon and go to group. So now those two are grouped and they'll move together. And then I'm just going to lock it. And then that's pretty much it. I mean, this is our design. It's not exactly the same as what we have up here, but it gives a little bit more freedom and creativity to what we're designing for our specific industry. Do we have any questions before we move on?
Sorry, I couldn't find my mute button. No, it looks like we're doing okay.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and hop over. Let's see what time this is. We got about 20, a little bit, 10 minutes here, a little over. And we're going to go ahead and look at tips on Canva that we kind of utilize during this demonstration. So I gave you some tips on how to have an eye for branding and how to be bold in a simplistic way. Now we're going to go ahead and look at the Canva shortcuts and tricks and tips. So if I go here, I actually have several different Canva accounts. So I try to utilize their try me free for 30 days. All right, so back to presentation mode. And oops, here we go. Actually, I don't know if it's going to let me do it in presentation mode. So I'm going to come back out here and do it from the design mode. All right, so tip number 1 is to group your elements for easy moving. Just like we found out in the demonstration that if you have multiple text, multiple elements, it's hard to move the specific element you want without getting another one. So for example here, if you lock the text back, or if you lock the background here, then I can easily select the text without getting the background as well. Grouping is important when you're finished with an element and you want to group them. It's already centered and you want to move them together. Make sure you group those two together, just like we did with the circle and the outline of the circle. Tip number 2, so that was grouping. Tip number 2 is to lock your elements. So we just went over that as well. It's easy to select the element that you want when the other layers are locked instead of selecting both. So a way to select your layer or to select the object, for example, I want to fix the text here. I can click on the outside and move inward towards that element and it'll highlight just that element. If I didn't lock it, I would try that method and select everything, which is a nightmare when you're working with multiple layers upon layers. Tip number 3 is using the quick copy style, which I tried to, but didn't quite work the way I wanted it to in our demonstration here. So I will show you here. If you click on this element on the left and you want to copy the colors that it has there, you'll make sure it's selected, go back to the edit bar up top, and then you click on copy style. And then you click the next image that you want to have the same style, and bingo, there you go. That's how it should work. Tip number 4 is use the style tab as a quick alternative to Canva palette generator and text combo. So again, that's going to be on your left-hand side. If you go into, it should be up here, styles. Where are you? It's in the more, so you'd have to go to your more tab and then styles. And then you can choose any style that you want and see it changes the text, the color, etc. That's a quick, easy way for getting already predetermined palettes that you might find match your industry or business. If not, the other option again is to Google Canva, Canva color palette, and then you can upload an image that you like and get the same color palette for that. Tip number 5 is to save your social media posts and or email marketing headers as a screenshot for a better image than a PNG or JPEG. That sounds really, like technical jargon, but really it's not. So for example, I created this header right here in the newsletter header template in Canva. But at that time, I wasn't able to access my folders. So what I did was I screenshotted the image and then I uploaded it from my computer so that I could put it onto this presentation. And the difference is that I was able to enlarge it without it being pixelated because I screenshotted it. So that's a tip that you might use. And tip number 6 is to utilize our free consultation. So if you have questions on Canva or general startup, whatever it may be, like I said, I also do contracting work for promotions and designs as well. So if this isn't your thing and you found out that you don't want to spend time on this, I'm happy to help you either way. So you can schedule a free consultation with me at any point in time with Barbara, or you can contact me directly. That's pretty much the end of our webinar here. I did want to remind you that next Tuesday, April 27th, we are doing designing, or is that the right time? April 27th? Yeah, designing outside the box with Canva. So we're doing embedding videos and audio, Canva Plus features. So join us if you can. It's an exciting workshop. I'm hopeful that, you know, I don't break my computer in the process. I do want to show you really quickly what we designed in our last workshop for the intermediate to advanced Canva. Let's see here. How can I do this? Okay, stop sharing. All right. Okay, so here is what we actually came up with in the last Canva workshop. I'll make it bigger. It is. And if you look closely, you can actually see that there's steam coming out of this coffee cup. That was a really hard one to actually create. We did layer upon layer. It was really, really a cool thing. Can you see all of that, Barbara?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
And I am seeing the steam.
Yeah, so I mean, it is a video, it's got audio, it's got all of the intermediate to advanced features. We might not do the exact one next time around, but we'll figure out something that'll be fun. Anyway, thank you so much for spending your day with me. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to reach out and connect with you one-on-one. If you need a little bit more help with navigation or design or any of those aspects, please contact us. And I hope to see you next in our next workshop.
All right. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Stacy, so much for doing this. You always give such a great presentation. I did want to let you all know that if you wanted to work with Stacy through MCSC, let me turn my picture on so you can see me. If you want to work with her at no charge, she can counsel you through MCSC. She also has a private business where she does the work for you, and that is an option as well, in which case you would contact her directly. Could you put your contact information in the chat box, Stacy?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and then also we did have some more questions that I was hoping we could get to.
Absolutely.
Where's my chat box again? It's disappeared. There it is. All right, so Gay says she likes your design better. Thank you, Gay. Always have something nice to say. And then let's see. Is Canva good for inside of ebook?
Can we get a little bit of clarification? Are you asking if it's a good way to design an ebook? Because if that's the question, then yes, absolutely. Yes. It is a good way to do ebooks. I've seen people do ebooks. I've seen people do actual hard copy books and design that way, as well as brochures and things like that. It is a great way to complete that and just make it a lot better than what Word would compose. And at the end of it, you can actually save it as the PDF. So.
Okay. Will the participants receive access to the slides today?
I can make that available. Yeah, absolutely. I will send that out with the handout that I used for my notes in case you learn and do better that way.
Excellent, thank you.
Mhm.
Let's see what another one. Can we export a photo that they've edited in Canva to the desktop and use in other programs?
Yes, absolutely. And vice versa too. So you can actually create a cool image from Adobe and upload it to Canva and use it in Canva as well.
Is there a button to chat or have live call with customer service or a phone number for Canva?
Good question. You know, it's been a while since I've actually communicated with them. They're based out of Australia, but I do know that they're very responsive via email. I don't know. I'll have to double check, and I'll follow up in our next webinar or even in the follow-up email about that. But they are very, very good about getting back to emails, and they're very helpful. So.
Okay. And with a free Canva account, can you share or post your creation?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can share your FB posts, your Insta posts. You can share it on YouTube or post it. And you can also create a team so that you can share your design with them so that they can either view, edit, or comment. So that's also an option. Most of what you're going to get in Canva is pretty extensive. For Canva Pro, those are just more premium icons and effects like the, transparent backgrounds, uploading transparent backgrounds for your logos and things like that. So Canva is pretty good about giving you a lot of freedom just in their basic Canva account. You can try Canva Pro for 30 days. I would totally recommend trying it. It's definitely worth it, especially if you're doing your own business promotions. But before you try the free account, make sure you have some projects in mind so that you can really utilize every aspect of Canva Pro.
Okay, that's it for questions. Thank you all so much for coming. As Stacy mentioned, she will have another presentation on the 27th. You can register for any of those on our websites, which are listed on your screen right now. And then the SBA has a new program called Ascent. It's an online learning platform designed specifically for women entrepreneurs. We're having a presentation on that on the 22nd. And then on the 29th, we are finding our LinkedIn sizzle. We have a great LinkedIn consultant who's going to be presenting that. So we hope to see you there. Thank you all so much for coming, and we'll see you next time.